On this week's episode, the longest-running genre film festival returns to the Boston area. Ben Affleck's Duncan Outtakes take the internet by storm. An interview with the local filmmakers behind The Killers Next Door, and the best movies that came out in 1990. This is The Hub on Hollywood. I'm James.
I'm Jamie, and 1990 because it's the birthday edition! Woo-hoo!
All right, Jamie, as you said, it is the birthday edition of The Hub on Hollywood. I am celebrating my 33rd birthday, so I thought it'd be fun to check out all the awesome movies that came out in 1990, and there are many movies that came out, great movies that came out that year.
That is a very fortuitous number, so yeah, congratulations.
Yeah.
It's going to be a very good year, very good year. Very lucky numbers all the way around. That is wonderful. 1990. I cannot believe that we are in our 30s.
I know, it really does sneak up on you. It really, really does. It's crazy. I remember turning 25, and I thought at that point, oh, it's all downhill from here. Oh, no, I'm 25. Like, oh, James. Oh, 25-year-old James. So naive. So foolish.
So much further to fall.
It only gets better.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, I think life gets better. Things have definitely gotten better since then. And so for those who have not reached this milestone, don't worry. It does get better. This is another jam-packed episode. Like I said, not only do we have a great interview coming up with the filmmakers of The Killers Next Door, who filmed their latest film here in New England, but we're also talking about some other film festivals that highlight some of the best films in history, and that's happening at the Boston Sci-Fi Film Festival. It is the 48th consecutive year here in Somerville, which is not too far away from Boston, and it's a great time for film lovers to join together, participate in workshops, panels, a costume ball, and even a 24-hour movie marathon.
That's
great.
awesome.
I'm not sure if anybody has the strength to sit through 24 hours of movie, but with some of these films, including Escape from the Planet of the Apes, Terminator 3, Back to the Future 2, the original Godzilla, Alien, Total Recall, those are some movie classics. It's great to, make them available to the local Boston area, so those movie geeks, movie lovers out there can all join together and embrace each other in their love of filmography.
Sounds like a really great opportunity to dress up also, I wonder. This sounds like a little mini-con. But that's just wonderful. Yeah, Sci-Fi Film Festival. What would you dress up as if this was, if you were going to the Sci-Fi Festival?
I would definitely try to dress like Marty McFly, to embrace Back to the Future, the trilogy, among the best movies ever made. So, of course, very glad that that's showing there. I'd walk around with that, what is that, that vest that gets mistaken for the Coast Guard life preserver.
Yeah.
So that'd be a fun. What about you?
The chick from Alien.
Ripley.
Yes. Sigourney Weaver's
Weaver.
character, Ellen Ripley, the chick from Alien. I'm awful, but yes, Sigourney Weaver. That's who I would definitely dress up as.
There we go. Well, if you're not in the Boston area, you can still participate in the Boston Sci-Fi Film Festival because they do have versions streaming online, so you can still join in on the fun if you are not directly in the Boston area. But talking about, great films filmed here locally in Massachusetts, apparently one of the most Googled homes in movie history is located right here in the Bay State.
That's right. So coming in third, Massachusetts comes in third between behind the houses in Home Alone, which is in Minnesota, and the Twilight, I guess, estate, the home and the property there in Oregon that was used for Twilight. And coming in third is the Hocus Pocus house in Salem. This was a story out of LA Homes. So over 12,000 people Googled Hocus Pocus house every month. That's pretty impressive.
That's crazy.
And, they filmed and shot all over the city. But Allison's house, known as Rope's mansion is the most famous backdrop of the movie.
Now, one thing I didn't know was that the Sanderson sisters' cottage has been recreated and is available to rent as an Airbnb. I was not aware of that, but that sounds awesome. Apparently, there's like a glowing cauldron. There are witches' brooms, and like outside they have that water wheel turning. Did you know about this?
I did not, but now I do. So this is something that has to happen at some point in the future.
We need to record an episode of the Hub on Hollywood at the Sanderson sisters' cottage.
That would be so
for
cool.
next Halloween, I think.
God, yeah, lots of
Right?
cool places. Like, definitely, absolutely. You probably have to book now though, because these things fill up for Halloween town.
Especially around Halloween. Yeah.
Halloween time. Also, just wanted to mention a lot of Hocus Pocus scenes filmed in Rhode Island as well. So all of New England getting in on that awesome action. Speaking of getting in on the action, James, Ben Affleck and his Dunkin' commercial. Getting people in on the action of the Super Bowl this past weekend. One of the funniest commercials of the night, I think, for sure. And Ben Affleck, he was like in 3 different commercials. So local boy, he was everywhere, all over the place for a bunch of different brands. But besides the short little, it was like only like 15 seconds. Commercial that we saw.
It was like 30 seconds. I was expecting more, actually. I was kind of surprised with how short the Super Bowl version of it was. I think Duncan could have afforded a full 1 minute spot.
Yeah, come on, Duncan. Where's the cash?
Apparently, they had plenty of more footage, and so they actually released the outtakes for the cuts that didn't make the final commercial, and they're pretty funny. So I think some of them they should have included in the final product, but we can go through a couple of them because the rest you can watch on tvline.com. They have them all lined up, but we'll take a look at some of the outtakes, including one. Again, they shot this one right here in Medford, where I live. My Dunkin' Donuts. Ben came to my Dunkin', didn't even ask for permission. I'm the mayor of Dunkin' at that location, and I'll let it slide this time.
All right, I bet I'm sure his apology letter is coming in the mail. It's on its way. So where do we want to start here with these outtakes? Because we've got to share these. These are awesome.
Yeah, so we'll start with the first one. This is about a minute long, titled Dunkin' Drive-Thru Outtakes starring Ben Affleck. So we can start this one in 3, 2, and 1.
Welcome to Medford, Massachusetts, Duncan. Scenic Medford.
Scenic Medford.
You're already there. That's our slogan. You can have whatever you want for free.
Oh, I know you, Ben Affleck, bro.
I know you.
Get out of here. I'm struggling. I'm gonna spill it. Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't make it function. Malfunction. Not as easy as it looks operating this apparatus a bit.
Medium hot black.
We're out of coffee.
Oh, got
Out of coffee.
Yeah, we get no coffee and no donuts.
What do you got?
Water.
We
This
got
guy looks
water.
so.
You're me.
This guy looks so sad.
With comedy for my episode. What can I do for you? Dunkin' Run, medium or large coffee, get a donut for an incremental $1. Are you interested?
I'm gonna
ask you to please take the deal, sir.
You need me to...
Right now,
So
sir, I want
aggressive.
you to take the Dunkin' Run. Double sausage, turkey sausage, egg and cheese, maple sugar, bacon, black, peppercorn.
Are you all right this morning?
I don't think he's all right.
How have you been, all right? How's your mother?
Good.
Father, all right?
It's even better.
Good. All right, I'll see you around.
All right, take it easy.
Not your
it
typical
easy.
Dunkin' technician. Usually they're much smarter than you.
Yeah, I don't think that last guy knew that was Ben. He just seemed like, okay, say hi to your mother. Like, okay.
Yeah.
And just leaves.
No, he just looked very confused and concerned.
I love the accent comes back so naturally for Ben. Boston Medford accent.
But I think it's difficult to recognize him kind of because he's just got the Dunkin' shirt on. He's not wearing any makeup. He's kind of all grizzled and stuff. Like I can see how it would take you a few seconds to realize like who is this guy? He looks like a guy from Medford, and he's talking like the guy from Medford. So
Imagine if you were through the drive-thru, you look at him like, oh, I know who you are. You're Matt Damon.
oh, that would be great.
Let's check out this second outtakes. Check it out right now in 3, 2, 1.
4 glazed donuts.
Come in hot, looking for 4 glazed.
The bacon, egg, and cheese, and a croissant.
Bacon, egg, and cheese. Bing, boom, boom, yeah.
Strawberry donuts.
Can I just give you a churro?
So you're gonna get my tea in there though?
This is like a trust fall. You don't see what you ordered, but you just fall backwards into my arms. Metaphorically speaking, of course.
Metaphorically speaking, of course.
Into his
Oh,
arms.
that's good. Well, check out those rest of those outtakes, tvline.com. It's titled Ben Affleck's Dunkin' Donuts Super Bowl commercial. Watch the outtakes, dude. So good, so good. No, and again, I love the accent over here. Again, I moved over here from California, and so when I moved over here, I still haven't gotten tired of the local accent. I think it's great, and the one great thing about my wife doesn't usually have the accent, but it does come out when she's hanging out with her family. Those R's start changing a bit, and I love it. So let us know if you have a Boston accent. If you do, send us
I think,
a reel of
James,
yourself.
your accent has gotten better. I think, in the beginning, I think you attempted
My wife
it.
hates my attempts at a Boston accent. You haven't really listened to it.
Well,
I'll try not to do it right here even more because I don't want to get hate mail.
So, James, my best Boston accent story, real quick. I was walking in Harvard. I think I might have shared this before, but this guy on the street starts yelling at these women. He's like, "You there! You there! Yeah, you!" And the woman's like, "Me? Me?" He's like, "Yeah, you should be arrested." She's like, "Oh no, what did I do?" And he's like, "For stealing my hat."
Oh, God.
You stole my hat.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, I'll tell my quick accent. One of my first interactions with a Bostonian that I swear I could not understand them. I was picking up my cat from a animal, you drop off the animal at this like cat hotel while you're gone and out of town. And then as I was picking her back up, JB, the cashier, the register, was like, "Okay, do you want to put it on your CAD?" And I'm like, "Excuse me? Yeah, do you want to put it on your CAD?" Like CAD. I'm like what's a CAD? And she goes, "Your credit CAD." And I'm like, "Oh, your credit card. Gotcha." I'm like, that was hilarious. I mean, like, if you're not from around here, those things, like, your brain pauses for several seconds trying to like decipher what are you saying right now? Never heard of a CAD. Oh, a credit CAD. Gotcha. Well, that's great. Love the Boston accent. Love Ben representing Boston. Again, the hub of the universe. Always good to get that attention.
That's right.
Speaking about some attention that I think it's not so good. Anytime Disney tries to remake their classics into live action, I don't think it ever turns out well. Now, it doesn't turn out well from a critic point of view. It does turn out well from the box office revenue and the money that they make from it. So, of course, they're going to keep doing it. But the latest film that's going to be turned into a live action adaptation is Lilo and Stitch. Why is that happening?
And Zach Galifianakis tapped to star in that.
I love Zach Galifianakis. I love him in everything. So he's been cast. That's the latest news, is that he's been cast in the new live-action movie Lilo and Stitch. He will probably, I would guess, maybe do the voice of Stitch. Of course, he can't play Lilo, and of course, he can't play Lilo's older sister. Maybe he may play Bubbles, the government agent who's trying to find a Stitch, but or he may be some of the voice of the other aliens. But yeah, why are we doing this? Why? Lilo and Stitch is such a perfect movie already. If you can't make it better, you shouldn't be attempting it. So
yeah, it's
I don't like
absolutely
that.
Perfect the way that it is. And honestly, all of these live action movies have turned out to me and my kids creepy, overly realistic, scary, like terrifying. There's a reason why they were cartoons, James. There's a reason. All right. When you do it in live action, you're gonna scare the crap out of your children. And I don't know that Lilo and Stitch is the kind of movie that I would want to see in live action at all. It depends on the character design too. Like, they can't make it too scary. They've got to, chill on that. I'm looking at you, Animal Book, or whatever that one was called. The
Animal Book?
The Jungle Book. There we go. Looking at you, Jungle Book.
I hated the Animal Book.
It's a simile. I don't know.
Well, let's talk about the new movie, the new Disney movie, Bugman. I'm sorry, Ant-Man.
Yeah, whatever.
Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is out in theaters. It's already made around $17.5 million in its opening day at the box office, and it's expected to make around $24 million in total globally for this latest Disney Marvel movie. So I haven't watched it yet. I will be watching it this weekend. I'm not sure what you've heard about the reviews so far, but they've been kind of mixed on Rotten Tomatoes. Ant-Man and the Wasp, the sequel, has about a 48% tomato meter score, so critics not too on board with it. However, the audience score is a little better, with looking at 84%. I have heard mixed things about how the parts involving Scott Lang and Kang the Conqueror, those are the best parts of the movie, but everything else kind of falls flat or is not that exciting. So again, I will be watching it this weekend, and I'll go in with an open mind and see how I feel about this. But overall, a lot of people say that this lacks the spark of the other adventures that we've seen. But, you never know.
Well, I've never been like on the Ant-Man train so much. They weren't movies that I ever rewatched. And this makes me a little bit nervous because I'm usually on the side of the critics whenever they give their score or whatever. So that makes me a little bit nervous, but also kind of makes sense because they are cramming a lot of stuff into this movie. They have been billing Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania as sort of the big film where they set up the whole next phase, right? Where you've got your new villain, you've got all of the plot points, and that's a lot of pressure and that's a lot to do in a movie. So, you've got an ulterior motive here besides just telling the story and following the characters. You're cramming in all of this other, stuff, and I think that'll naturally stifle the story and the feeling and how you connect with the characters. And I love that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is so interconnected in that way, and it's paradigm breaking in the way that they make films and all of that, but it can also be a hindrance. It can also really impact your enjoyment or the telling of these individual stories when they do it to that extent. So I really want to go see it because I'm very excited for Kang, who we got to meet in the Loki series originally as the ultimate guy at the end of everything, at the end of the universe, who's been controlling the multiverse, and he's protecting us from his other alter egos. And now that he was killed by female Loki, now we get to see his alternate egos, these other iterations of this character. So we've got
variants.
His variants. We've got a Thanos level threat, multiversal, maybe even bigger. So that's wonderful. And I really love the actor for Kang. I love the personality behind him. So I'm very excited to see that character and that villain. So we'll see. I'll give it a chance too. Let's give it a chance. Have you seen Quantumania yet? What are your initial thoughts? No, let's light on the spoilers, but what are your initial feelings about it? Are you going to go see it? How do you feel about Marvel? Is it too much already? Let us know, and we'll give you a shout out in the show.
Yeah, comment down below. If you are listening to us on any of the major podcasting streaming services, be sure to give us a 5-star review. If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit like and subscribe. And as Jamie said, comment down over on our social media pages at Hub on Hollywood, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Now, let's talk about this next film that is on IMDb, is getting, I think, better reviews than Ant-Man and the Wasp, and that is The Killers Next Door, which was filmed here in New England.
That's right, with local talent, and we're very excited to be talking with them. This is the premise of The Killers Next Door. A trip to the woods in rural New Hampshire becomes a fight for survival when 2 ex-convicts on the run cross paths with a young married couple. That is not something you want to interact with on, your nice romantic getaway. The trailer looks amazing, so we are very excited. We're going to show you a little clip here and dive right into our interview.
Remember that place up north in the sticks? Mom used to take us to.
I don't even know we're here.
Who knows? Maybe we get up there and find work for both of us.
You guys live around here?
We're just up the hill on Respite Road, so anything you guys need, anything at all, stop by for a beer.
I'm trying to be a new person here, right?
We're not going to stand for your stuff.
Nice to meet you.
Whoa.
And he was going to call the police on us.
Come on, you gotta let me in!
All right, welcome back to the Hub on Hollywood. I am joined with 2 amazing actors, filmmakers from here in New England. We've got Mr. David Pridemore and Michael Lo Cicero. They play ex-convicts in this very chilling new horror film, The Killers Next Door. David and Michael, you play those ex-convicts. I saw the trailer and I had chills, really. So, Michael, let's start with you really quickly because this is a brainchild of your production company, correct? JL Pictures. Can you tell us a little bit about how this movie came to be?
Sure. Yes. So I was primarily an actor, did theater and film for years, and but mainly working on other people's projects. And then I decided that if I'm going to make this career happen, I should write my own script and make my own movie. And so from script to screen or to script to distribution rather, it took I'd say a good 8 years. It's definitely a long haul, but wrote the script, made a business plan, and went on the hunt and found some investors and people who were as passionate about the project as I was, and held auditions, which is where I found this guy, and we made the film, and this was kind of the plan is that this is the first of many in a slate of films for JL Pictures. I have a team of other producers that have been not only my support system, but just this whole company is all about the collaborative process, and I couldn't do it without the team of people working around me.
Oh, that's fabulous. And you gentlemen are absolutely menacing in this. Just from the trailer that I saw, it was just wonderful to watch. So, David, how did you feel about coming on board for this project and in playing this kind of a character?
Well, I want to add on to what he just said about a support system. I have multiple personalities. Obviously, if you see the movie, you're going to see all kinds of crazy stuff coming out of me. But so, yeah, I have a bunch of people. I have a bunch of Bobbies in my head. What was the question? I'm sorry.
Well, actually, can I just chime in real quick? Because I want to give you the little story of how I found Bobby. David. Yeah.
How Sally met it.
Yeah, exactly. So we held auditions, and I had always had a completely different person pictured in my head as far as the physicality of who the Bobby character would be. And then David Pridemore walked in, and he just killed the audition. He was Bobby, and kind of like all our jaws dropped to the point where we're like, do you think this guy might actually have killed someone or has done time?
Yeah. Hey, we said we weren't going to talk about what
yeah. No, definitely not the case. He is he's become my good friend and brother, just like in the movie, and he's the sweetest guy. But yeah, definitely has some range to him. He can play the craziest of the crazies.
So would you say that this was, difficult or fun for you, David? Talk to us a little bit about that process, about becoming this character.
Well, meeting, what's your name again? No.
Ryan,
Michael. Getting a chance to work with Michael and his staff. It was a great experience, and we lived together while we filmed this movie, and it was 2.5 weeks, and getting to know each other. And I might be a method actor.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Because I felt like I just kind of became this character, and I'm pretty sure I scared the crew and his family, which I'm still apologizing for. But
no. At least not my family.
It was a great experience, and I thank Mike 100 times over for bringing me on and allowing us to. That's what we do. We go play in the sandbox, and we bring these characters to life. And the good ones just let it happen. And it happened.
That is so cool. Yeah. And now this was done in just 15 days, right? Was it actually filmed in New Hampshire?
It was. My family owns a cabin and property up in New Hampshire, a very small town. I've been going up there for years, just visiting, and was thinking one day that I should take advantage of them having this beautiful property and all this land and write a film around the location. I've always been a big true crime fan, and so I kind of wrote it around that and around the location, and And then yes, we basically shot for 12 days in New Hampshire. We housed people at a nearby inn, and right there in the cabin where we were shooting. And then we also shot here in Rhode Island, where I live, for 3 days. And of course, there were a couple of random pickup days and reshoots we had to do, but basically 15 days.
That's incredible. Yeah, when you consider that this is a feature length film. So it's so fun. So you're talking about you're a true crime fan. Is that how this came to be? Like, where do all of these ideas and this murderous fun come from?
Yeah, I definitely am. The thriller genre is probably my favorite, and my wife and I over the years have always been into Datelines and 48 Hour Mystery and all those different shows. And yeah, there's some specific films that are inspirations for the film as well, but definitely some particular episodes of like a Dateline that really kind of put the wheels in motion and kind of got the idea rolling in my head. I would say that the location is the biggest inspiration to writing the film. I mean, I kind of knew I wanted to do something simple story-wise with not a huge cast, and something that was attainable, because it's micro budget filmmaking to its finest. I mean, we were able to do many things that that low of a budget I don't think would be able to pull off, because I had just such a talented team around me. But the schedule was really tight, and we got so many connections for free to make it work, which I'm extremely thankful for. But I think watching the movie, you would never think it was that small of a budget or tight of a schedule, or how difficult it was, because we just lucked out in so many ways and were able to really make it work. And it was a great time, but very stressful.
I can imagine.
And it rains.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It did all the elements. It actually snowed at one point. We shot in May, and we had some. It was actually a scene that we had to shoot in a hot tub, and it started.
Was it 3 a.m.?
Yeah, it started raining, and then it actually turned to snow, and we were like, "Oh, we've hit all the elements now." Okay, great.
Yeah, I mean, that's New England, right? You wait 5 minutes, the weather changes, and especially up in the mountains, it changes so quickly. One more question for you, Michael, and then I have one for David. Talk to me about filming in New England and the kind of opportunities that we have here. I know that, with the film credit, like, so many productions are coming here, but like as a local actor, as a local filmmaker, as someone, who's pursuing that career here, can you talk about the kinds of opportunities and what it's like to be here in New England?
Yes, I mean, as far as opportunities, it's just New England has such a beautiful aesthetic to it. I feel like obviously there's the tax credit and the kind of incentives that you can get towards your budget, and that's why a lot of Hollywood productions come out here. But I think a big part of it is just how beautiful it is out here, and how you can come up with so many different stories and have so many different backdrops to that story in New England. We weren't able to take advantage of any tax credits or anything for this particular film, because primarily shooting in New Hampshire, they don't have that. But on our next project, we plan to shoot primarily in Mass and Rhode Island, and I hope to be able to utilize that to our advantage, because then we can have an even bigger budget and keep raising the bar even higher on each film. But I just think the community, and then this is a big part of why we started this production company, is that I think the community around us is just ripe with talent. There's, whether it's in front of the camera or behind the camera. Like I said, I have a background in theater. I just know so many talented writers and actors and production staff, and everyone around us I want to collaborate with at one point or another, because you can make really great stories come to life.
And that's what it's all about. David, can you tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about your acting career? Are you also local?
Yeah, I'm originally from Boston. I lived in Billerica, grew up there. I've been doing this a long, long time. I think my first movie was Good Will Hunting back in 1997, and then I was a stand-in for an albino in a Jim Carrey movie called Me, Myself, and Irene, and then I did background for like 20 years. And I finally started taking Chekhov and Meisner classes, and just started really studying the craft. And I've accrued probably 35 or principal credits in the last 3 or 4 years. So it's been quite the journey. Touching on the tax credits, that's something. I'm in the Screen Actors Guild, and we fought so hard to get that to be a permanent staple in Massachusetts. To, if you create it, they will come, and now it's permanent. And we're averaging 15 to 20 big movies a year in town. So it's giving the actors an opportunity to audition for bigger roles than just the 1 or 2 liners that end up getting cut. So it's a good time to be an actor in New England, especially where New York is so close to. And self-tapes is here to stay. So you can submit across the country and be local and travel if you're willing to do it.
Do you have a favorite story on set from this production, and then any other thing that you've done?
There's a few good stories that I don't really want to share.
That shouldn't be
ones that are PC enough, right?
Yeah, exactly. I have so many. Let me think about that for a second. I'll get back to you.
Okay.
One that's not necessarily it's more just kind of showing how we were, the schedule was tight, and really it's almost borderline guerrilla filmmaking. Is that there, like Dave said, it rained, and we had one day in particular where it was raining so much, and we were shooting outside in the middle of the woods, and we had to stop shooting because it was just raining that hard. And I remember all of us kind of just like standing around under a bunch of trees with the umbrellas out, and me talking to my first AD and basically discussing the fact that if it doesn't stop raining soon, this whole day is going to be a wash, and then the film is sunk because we have no extra days to shoot. We're like housing everyone up there, but the rain ended up letting up enough for us to power through. And there's plenty of scenes in the movie where it might be drizzling in the film, and you can't necessarily tell, but we made it work. It was a great process. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, movie magic and dedication. That's wonderful. Now, you mentioned that there are other projects in production or coming down the pipe.
Well, we have a few scripts written for just the slate down the road, but we do have a script in particular that we'd like to make our next film, but we're in extreme early stages. Still planning on pitching it to investors and seeing if we'd like to plan to shoot it this summer if possible. I think the script is in great shape, and I have it's another thriller, and not a huge cast, not anything that is going to be too difficult for us to cram into a couple of months pre-production to get ready. And definitely going to ask this guy to do it again. So
you gonna make me audition this time?
No audition necessary. You
see that? That's what you want.
You've proven yourself as a psycho.
There you go. So what has the response been so far to this film? Because it's just come out now, correct?
Yeah, just released in January. And as far as I've seen, we've had a pretty decent response. I mean, we actually just got our first.
Super positive, man. I think above pretty
decent.
Yeah. I think it's been great.
Yeah, we've had a lot of great fan reviews that are just, it's always hard to tell, because especially when it's people it's hard to tell if they're really giving you honest, true feedback. I don't like getting smoke just blown. Tell it to me straight. Let me know if there were things you would have liked to see better, and blah blah blah. But we've had really great positive reviews from fans, and then actually just got a review from a media outlet, Film Threat, and they gave us an 8 out of 10. And
congrats.
Thank you. And the writer really dissected the film, and kind of, because I've always believed this film to be more of a thriller / drama. It's kind of a slow burn. When you see the trailer, that particular trailer is a little more action based, and we kind of like put it all
Yeah.
out there for people to see. But when you watch the full film, and I'm proud of this, but I think that our thriller stands out because it has a little more character depth than typical thrillers, and a strong story, and you get behind what's going on, and the suspense and everything, and I think it works. I don't want to say I'm surprised by the positive reviews. It's not that. It's more just that it's great, and I never would have expected that from the beginning of the whole process. So it's nice to see, and I think it's a solid first film for us. Especially being as low budget as it was, we did a fantastic job under the circumstances. So it was good.
Nice. Congratulations on that. And David, how did you feel seeing yourself up there in the final product for the first time?
Well, it's funny that our premiere was in Lincoln, Rhode Island, was it? At this big movie, drive-in movie.
Yeah, the Rustic.
Cool.
The Rustic. So it was, the drive-in theater, you're up on the big screen. It was it rained that night too, which scared a few people away, but it was humbling because I've done a lot of 100, 200 movies over the course of the years, but I've never been the lead actor. So that was kind of
and he deserves to be. You've done a lot of the background stuff I know you've talked about in short films, but man, this is it. This is from here on out. You should be playing those leads because he stole the show, and you'll see in a lot of the reviews we just talked about, most of those positive reviews are blown away by his performance.
Hey, Rye Guy, we're brothers. We're a team. I'll have none of that.
You can
the
feel
first
the love.
poster he had on it. I'm like, where's the rest of the crew? I don't like this. But that new poster is something. That was a great poster, by the way. That was an amazing job they did with that.
Yeah, it came together well. Yeah, we have a sales team, MPX, and then they connected us to our distributor, which is Desktop Entertainment, and they both came together and created a pretty nice poster design for us, and also put the trailer together. We have another trailer, and I kind of have an alternate version trailer that will speak to that film threat review of being more of a thriller / drama. It's a little more stretched out and give you a little more chunk of the story to it, but we'll probably release that at some point because just any content is good content, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm looking forward to watching this whole thing. Maybe my husband and I can do that tonight. The Killers Next Door, available on Amazon Prime and Vudu. Anything else you guys want to let people know about before we say goodbye for now?
I just appreciate and thank you for the opportunity to the folks on Hub on Hollywood, and as far as Killers Next Door, we're on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and please follow our pages. Check out the website killersnextdoor.com, which has direct links to the film and the trailer and all the backstory on who we are and how the film was made, and look for more from JL Pictures.
Rent a movie today with The Killers Next Door. It's killer.
It's a killer film.
It's a killer, right? Yeah.
That's right.
All right. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you having on the Hub on Hollywood, and best of luck. And for the next productions, everything else in the future, come back on, share it. We can't wait to see it. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Jamie.
Thanks for having us.
And we're talking about some other great movies. Of course, like I said, we are celebrating my birthday, my 33-year birthday, my 33rd birthday. Is that the proper way to say it? And so I figured the best way to do that is to celebrate my favorite movies that came out in 1990, and just going through the list of them. A lot of great ones debuted, and so we'll just go down some of my favorites. They include Back to the Future 3. I mentioned earlier in this episode when we were talking about the Boston Sci-Fi Film Festival, the capping of a perfect, amazing trilogy. And Tremors starring Kevin Bacon, another classic, cult classic, which I think is also a solid, well-rounded, perfectly scripted and acted and cast movie. Have you seen Tremors?
Yes, I've seen Tremors. The practical effects, while, not as advanced, obviously, they were well done in that they built up
They
that
hold up, I think.
anxiety. Yeah, they hold up. They still make you feel that anxiety for the characters and that fear. And I love that they did that with practical effects, and I want to see more of that in modern movies. So yes, I love Tremors, although too many people like running and then falling down, just so the monster can get them. Like, come on, like, do people really fall that much when you're running for your life?
I have seen people fall down when they're scared. Like, I've seen people like, a bee like is buzzing by their head and they try running away and suddenly their legs forget to work. And so I do believe it is possible. I know that in many serial killer like Halloween and Jason and Friday the 13th movies, that happens a lot. But if you know like a giant underground worm that could pop up under the ground at any second is about to kill you, I think it makes you fumble a little bit. But Tremors still holds up to this day, visual wise, acting wise, performance wise. It still holds up. One of Kevin Bacon's best movies.
What's your favorite movie that came out in the year you were born?
Oh, I'm going through them right now. We have the rest of the list includes Home Alone, The Rescuers Down Under, Dances with Wolves, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Predator 2, RoboCop 2, Ghost, Joe versus the Volcano, which I watched recently, Pretty Woman, Edward Scissorhands, Misery, Gremlins 2. Out of all of these, I would say probably, tied for first would probably be Back to the Future 3, Tremors, and Home Alone.
That's awesome. What a great year for movies. Very fortuitous that would be the year of James Rojas' birth and all of that, because great movies. Ghost would probably be one of my favorites from that year. Incredible films.
Yeah. So if you want to celebrate my birthday, go down this list and watch all these movies in your own 24-hour movie marathon at home. How about that?
I love that.
That
the
sounds
James
fun, right?
Rojas Hub on Hollywood birthday
Movie marathon
extravaganza. Love it.
Love it. We'll get that hashtag out there and get that trending. So let us know when you were born, if you want to include what year you were born and what was your favorite movie that came out that year. Tell us at Hub on Hollywood on any of our major social media platforms. But just to wrap up this episode before we get into our casting calls after the show, let's talk about what we're watching. Coincidentally, watch some documentaries that we think really hit the mark and are really interesting. Do you want to go first?
Sure. So I've been watching some very metaphysical, sort of trippy kinds of documentaries, starting with Ancient Apocalypse, which is on Netflix right now, which talks about this alternate prehistory timeline where they believe that there was a comet or a meteor that might have struck the Earth and wiped out a more advanced human civilization at that time. They talk about, the pyramids and the monoliths around the world and how it just, the current accepted view of history doesn't explain why these things exist. And they present their evidence for this ancient apocalyptic event and for a more advanced civilization that might have lived alongside more primitive humans at the time. So it was very fascinating, great thought-provoking documentary that I think was well put together. So if that's your jam, you want to, explore what is possible. Like, do you believe?
I want to believe, as they say in the X-Files. One documentary that I watched recently, and I actually regret not watching this sooner because we received a screener for this, but at the time I just didn't have the time to watch it. But this documentary called Fire of Love. It's said to be the greatest lava-fueled love story ever told. It's about these two intrepid scientists and lovers, Katya and Maurice Kraft, who died in a volcanic explosion doing the very thing that brought them together, unraveling the mysteries of volcanoes by capturing the most explosive imagery ever recorded. And this documentary was directed by Sarah Dosa and includes a treasure trove of footage and photos taken by the actual couple who fell in love. They're volcanologists who study the science behind volcanoes around the world, and they met through the field of doing this, and then they fell in love, and then they continued the rest of their life studying and going to all around the world to these different volcanoes and studying them about why they erupt and what's happening underneath the surface, and learning about the lava flow and the fire and the smoke and the beautiful and dangerous nature of these beasts of this living earth as they described it. And it's a beautiful story. So not only are you, if you are fascinated about Mother Nature and the power of what nature can do, it's amazing on that level, but also the love story aspect of it, showing these two people that will do anything and go anywhere as long as they're together, even in some of the most dangerous places on Earth. And as I described in the story, they died doing what they loved in one of the most devastating and explosive volcano eruptions in history. So if you love any of what I just described, check out Fire of Love on Disney+. It's only an hour and 30 minutes. It goes by very quickly just because of the fast editing and the storytelling and how engrossed you are in this relationship. So I would recommend, a strong recommendation from me.
Awesome. What are your favorite documentaries? What should we be watching? What are the good ones that are out there? Because there are some stinkers, but what are the good ones that we should be watching? Let us know. Again, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube, we're everywhere that you want to be. We're on Instagram. Share with us. We will comment back. And let us know. Get in on the conversation here on the Hub on Hollywood.
Absolutely. So thanks again for tuning in for this week's episode. Stick around after the credits because we have a few casting calls for our local talents. Whether you want to be in films, commercials, or any other project in between, you're going to want to stick around for that. But for the Hub on Hollywood, I'm James.
I'm Jamie. See you next time.
Bye.
And here we are, the best part of the Hub on Hollywood. The best second part of the Hub on Hollywood is casting calls, where we get you in the movies, on TV shows, and in commercials. So here we go. First of all, a project called Sheepdog is looking for general background actors for scenes local to Turner Falls and Greenfield, Massachusetts. If you are interested, this is shooting in mid-February to early March. Please send your headshot, resume, contact information to sheepdogfilm@gmail.com. The Connecticut Lottery is also looking for some voiceover talent. They're looking for actors able to portray Spanish and English, men ages 30 to 50 for voiceover for an animated commercial that they're putting together. So please send a message to Melissa at paradisecasting.com for further audition instructions.
All right, Boston Casting is looking for men of Haitian descent with a Haitian accent for an upcoming project. This is a non-union gig for people between 45 and 60 years old. This will shoot from home via Zoom sometime between the 23rd of this month and the 27th. This pays $300. So if you are of Haitian descent or if you have a Haitian accent, send your photo, contact information to bostoncastingcommercial@gmail.com. In the subject line, put Haitian man / your name. Again, that's bostoncastingcommercial@gmail.com.
And that's all we've got for you this week, James. We're in the dead of winter, so things are a little slow at the moment, but as soon as that glorious spring starts coming back to New England, it will also be a spring of these incredible projects, films, television shows, that every year we're just getting more and more A-list stars, top directors, just great films. And we will get you cast in those movies here on the Hub on Hollywood. So if any of these sound like you or someone you know, please share with them. Let them know about the Hub on Hollywood, and we will have more for you as those come on down. So thanks for listening. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for having fun with us. And we will see you next time. I'm Jamie.
I'm James. Bye.